What do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
It doesn't even enter my consciousness.
Alrighty, so Marty Supreme, the next Josh Safdie film, is here. And I have heard nothing but great things about this movie. But before we get into the full review, just want to go on and give a little preface here. Also, hit that like, subscribe button. It's Christmas. So, Timothée Chalamet, growing up, saw him in stuff like Interstellar. I know he wasn't a really big part of that movie, but still really good up in that. Then I caught him in stuff like Beautiful Boy, Call Me By Your Name, Little Women. And he just kind of became my favorite working actor today. Like, I would say he's probably my favorite actor. Not of like all time, or if we're talking about the greats, whatever, but like working today, that's my favorite actor, right? And so I just want to go and throw that out there to tell you there's a little bit of inherent bias, but honestly, I feel like I don't really have to feel bad saying that anymore because he always backs it up. He's never starring in dog crap, which we're going to get into a Diana Connor review next, so stay tuned for that. But like the Dune movies have become some of my all-time favorite films. And not just because of him alone, but because they're just beautifully crafted pieces of sci-fi. You know, for example, like Dune Part 2. It just hit so special and like just, I don't know, just hit for me. Like it was just so good. And like I've been getting a lot of flag from my friends because like next year, like we're talking about Doomsday, because apparently they're keeping the date for Dune Part 3 and on the same day as Avengers Doomsday. And I was like, I want to see that over Dune. Over Doomsday. I want to go see that before I go watch, Avengers, right? And so with that, let's get into, Avengers. We're not there yet. Let's get to Marty Supreme. So this movie takes place in the 1950s and follows Marty Mauser, played by Timothée Chalamet, a young man who's chasing his dreams of becoming a table tennis player. And naturally, that is the moment that Timothée then steps on screen because you just kind of know that something special is coming when you see him, right? I was seeing some clips. There's like one that's online I'd recommend watching. Actually, it's like a semifinals thing that they do. Oh, it's so beautiful. The music in this movie, which we'll get to, is just so good. And so along the way, the film, he crosses paths with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, Kay Snow, who's kind of like a ex-superstar, used to be a glamorous actress back in her day. You got Tyler Creator, who's playing his buddy Wally, who adds kind of like this great chaotic energy in the few scenes that he's in. Kevin O'Leary actually is pretty good as a character he plays, as like a businessman, which is funny. And then Odessa Zion plays Rachel Missler, who becomes a key part of the story later on, especially as Marty starts to climb higher and higher. And I don't want to really spoil any of that major story beats, so I am just going to kind of keep those character details pretty light like that. But I will say that I think Marty Supreme is incredible. From the opening scene, which I just want to say that's my favorite opening scene. Not the scene together, but like the title card. That's my favorite title card of this year. I think it's hilarious. I think it's clever and kind of metaphorically rich because immediately you kind of get what this film is about. You know, you get that ambition, that ego, that drive, the cost of greatness. And I think it's a really great opening. And of course, Timothée Chalamet carries this movie like a champ. You know, this is one of those performances that's going to be remembered. I think that my female frontrunner for Performance of the Year was Jessie Buckley. But for male, I was kind of going back and forth with a lot of people a while. And I would say right now it's Timothée, no question. I love everybody and everything they were doing this year. I do. You've seen all the reviews, but for me, I just think he gives a performance that's so layered. You know, he's kind of cocky and arrogant on the surface, but you can see the heart and fear underneath, you know, because he's not really just chasing fame. He wants to kind of be more remembered, and he wants to be one of the greats. And I feel like that theme really hits harder because Timothée himself has openly talked about wanting to be seen almost kind of like a De Niro or Pacino, like, you know, somebody whose name is generations to come, right? Not just for someone like my age, right? Like, it's like, you know, my kids or whatever will remember whoever he is, right? And who he becomes in, like, his movies and stuff like that. And so I feel like this movie is also about the world, you know, and wanting the best for it, right? And so Chalamet, I feel like, brings that obsession to life. And I think that Marty, while he uses people in this movie, like with his charm and manipulating friends and stuff like that, there's a lot of parts that you see that he really does actually love things, and, you know, he's not doing things out of hate, like the whole sport, for example. You can see it behind his eyes, like the love that he has whenever he's playing, like whenever he's having fun, right? I also really love the table tennis scenes. I think they're kind of shot like car chases. It's wild. You know, Josh Safdie does a really cool thing here where it really does feel like Uncut Gems at times. It's very psychological at times and kind of like a thriller in a way. I think the score and the music and sound design is absolutely phenomenal. There's kind of like this undercurrent that plays a lot in like the 1950s setting that really hits a hard. And I know a lot of people, you know, have those jokes about like, oh, this movie's just about table tennis. And that's kind of the genius of it, because Marty Supreme is proof that if you have a great director, great actors, and a story, make anything cinematic, if we're being honest. I think Safdie manages to recreate that same electricity, like I said, once again, from Uncut Gems, but in a totally different way. You know, this is kind of a mix of a lot of other movies, very high octane, like A Good Time or something like that, but stressful like Uncut Gems. And I feel like you feel that rush, right? And for me, I think everything about this movie really landed, every single thing. I think the story, the characters, performances, editing, even brief world building in a way, because you get a lot of stuff from another character in Japan that I really liked, which just, you know, even though it wasn't in their face, you're getting like a POV, just the things they would say and like why it meant a lot for this character to win or do what they're doing, I really appreciated. And so do what Timothee said. Marty Supreme Christmas Day. Schwepp! Go see this movie. I really loved it. It's incredible. One of my favorite movies of the year. I think it hit right at the perfect time too, because I'm kind of taking my final end of the year list down. And I'm telling you, Marty Supreme's definitely going to be on it. So this is a first for me, giving him 2 back-to-back in a row, I think. This is another 10 out of 10 that I just recently saw. I think this might be, like I said, the first time I've done that. I gave Pluribus the last one. But yeah, this holiday season, this fall season, you know, in the season where we got Hamnet and stuff like that, legendary performances. Legendary performance again by Timothée Chalamet. Timothee, if you happen to be watching this review, I want you to know you are the GOAT in my book. This is insane. We're getting Dune from him next, guys. Dune 3. Another one. And it's going to be awesome. They're adapting Dune Messiah. It's going to be peak. So go see this movie. Have fun on Christmas Day. If you're watching this Christmas Day, Merry Christmas to you all. And thank you guys for all the subscriptions and getting us through the year, because we've grown a lot. And so I want to say thank you for that, because at the time of this was probably my last video I put out until we do like our end of the year countdowns and lists and stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys are sticking around, appreciate it. And with that, like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.